This week, we started our first challenge of the new year, the running challenge.
My favorite. Out of all the challenges we could have drawn for week one, literally it had to be running.
Right?
I went into this week thinking I was going to hate this challenge and I was going to be sore and tired and annoyed by the whole thing all week long. That did not turn out to be the case. I ended up really enjoying running, which is a weird sentence I never thought I'd actually say.
So I used to love running. I ran half marathons and then I hard stopped. I had some leg injuries. I actually haven't taken up running in well over a year. So that being said, I'm a little bit of a #overachiever and thought that I would ramp up this week by running 1 mile a day and then an additional mile every single day. By day 4, mile 4, my legs started cramping up.
I am super sore from kind of overdoing it a little bit these past few days. So I'm gonna actually take it a little bit easier at the gym on myself, which will be a little hard, but I'm gonna do a 20-minute workout on the treadmill and see how my body feels after that.
I did a lot of stretching, a lot of foam rolling, kept pushing through.
By day 3, I started to feel an energy that I hadn't had before. Something about cardio really triggered that endorphin rush in me. I felt so good afterwards. I started to crave it, which is something I never expected to feel.
It's kind of like a primal instinct, right? You're running for your life, your heart is beating out of its chest. It is totally an endorphin rush, I get that.
So what do you need to get prepared so you can go running? The most important thing is to find a store where you can get a good recommendation on what shoes work best for you.
We're getting sized for shoes.
Oh, we are, yes.
There are a lot of different factors at play, but the most important ones are how stable your footing is, which they call pronation, and then second is arch. How much arch support do you need to make sure that your foot is hitting the ground in a balanced way?
So we did a little bit of research and we found this amazing shop in San Francisco called A Runner's Mind.
So they actually took us outside and recorded our gait. They put us in a neutral pair of shoes, had us run up and down the block and recorded the footage so they could show us exactly how our feet are landing on the pavement. Now, looking at Katie's footage, her feet were landing perfectly. They said she had a really good gait, she had a really good runner's, whatever you call that. Katie runs well. And then you look at my footage and my ankles are going all wobbly all over the place. Clearly I have no experience with this. Based on that information, they suggested that Katie get a shoe that had more neutral to no real support around the ankle. Whereas for me, they recommended a little bit more support. So at the end of the day, I ended up with a pair of Saucony with a high arch support.
And I ended up with the #1 running shoe for like 35 years, the Nike Pegasus. And to boot, it's super cute looking too. Not that that had anything to do with my final selection.
And not that it's a boot.
Goon, go away.
So let's talk about what you should do before a run. I used to think that you should stretch extensively before you go on a run, but as it turns out, you shouldn't. You should limber up, you should move around, stretch your legs a bit, but don't do extensive long stretches. That is actually causing micro tears in your muscle. You're actually going to more likely build up scar tissue in your muscles as you're running because now you're putting impact on top of those micro tears. After a run, when your muscles are tight and hot, that's when you want to foam roll. That's when you want to really stretch out your muscles.
Now, as part of our recovery efforts, we've been biohacking our way through feeling better through the use of the Bulletproof Vibe. Check out that video if you haven't seen it yet. And we also are using this really cool new machine called the Tim Tam. There you go. Ah! So this thing is really loud. But,
yes.
But as you can see, it is a massager that massages at like a crazy frequency. Okay, let's stop that. It definitely, okay. Sometimes we're children. It's definitely loud, but this thing is super freaking effective. So that's recovery 101.
So, conclusions. After running for a week, I am incredibly surprised at how much I liked it. I thought I was going to come out of this week going, thank God I never have to run again. But as we are hoping with all of these challenges, it actually turned out to enrich my life and make me feel a lot better.
Similarly, I also loved picking running up, and this was definitely a great lesson for me about taking it slow. I definitely jumped in head first, tried to go back to my 8-minute mile pace, running 4 miles a day. That's what I used to do a couple of years ago, and I definitely learned the hard way. But I think it would also be fun for us to maybe challenge ourselves with a race, later this year. So it gives us a goal, it gives us something to work towards, and it could be something fun we do together. Okay, so we're gonna go now.
Wait.
Oh.
But before we leave you, we have to draw the card for this week.
The time has come. I'm a little nervous again.
I'm always nervous. Here we go. This
Okay.
is the whole deck.
I have to pick it again?
Yeah, I feel like you're the picker. Because then I can blame you when we pick something horrible like running.
Exactly. I want to avoid that. I'm very impatient. It's very drawn out. Okay. No, 3?
3. It's the classic
Guys,
3.
you can fast forward this part. I'm sorry. This is ridiculous.
Okay.
All right.
Oh God. These.
Oh man. John Mulaney, here we come.
No.
Comedy!
Yeah!
Which is amazing because we're going to see Nick Kroll live, and it just so happens that it's SF Sketch Fest. So, woo!
We did
We
not
won.
cheat.
We won.
That was the card we drew.
This is life, just giving us a nice little hug.
So the real reason we wrote this card is not just to have an excuse to watch comedy, but there is a lot of data backing up the fact that comedy, humor, laughing is incredibly good for not only your psychology, but for your physical body. So we're not just gonna watch a bunch of comedy and say we watch some shows and do reviews of the TV shows. We're gonna be tracking how we feel, trying to measure our mood and our health on a day-by-day basis, and reporting out on that.
So thanks so much for watching, and as always, hit that like and subscribe button, and join us next week as we take on Challenge 2, Comedy Week.
Yay, we got comedy! Oh, thank goodness. After such a hard week with running, I'm glad we drew something
I know, same.
easy.
Yay. All right, is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.